Hi, it's Lee and welcome to a tour of my island dreamsicle. Since winter just officially started, I thought it would be nice to revisit my old winter island. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I actually do like decorating in the winter because everything just looks so pretty covered in the snow. Anyway, dreamsicle, like its name, is a dreamy, whimsical kidcore island which takes place in a child's dream. A lot of the decorations on this island are actually replaced with very random objects, and there are plenty of beds all around to symbolize that. Furthermore, the only types of food that you will be seeing on this island are desserts and snacks, since those are the things that kids typically like to eat. The color scheme for this island is primarily blue and pink, and I honestly think that this combination is one of the best in the game. As for the flag, not only does it fit the color scheme, but I thought it also best represented the concept of being free in a dream where you can live out your happiest life. And with that, let's take a look at the map. Now, I tried to do as much terraforming as I could because I wanted to improve, as this was only my third completed island overall. Speaking of terraforming, do we see that frog cliff, star pond, and heart river right there? Okay. We also have a few viewpoints which I will go over during the tour. As for my villagers, I kept to the color scheme with these cuties, so we have Lily, Rosie, Mint, Jeremiah, Chrissy, Dom, Bluebear, Marshall, Sherb, and Sasha. It's kind of funny seeing this lineup since 4 of these villagers are literally in my current lineup, even though I should be trying to include villagers I haven't invited before. Anyway, let's get started with the tour. For this entrance, I didn't really do anything too special. I just knew I wanted to have a cliff on the back left side with the villager home. But wow, I am actually loving all the items and pathing I used on this island. All the blue and pink colors are actually so satisfying to look at. This island also made me fall in love with the bubble machine, which is funny again since I'm actually trying to use that item more on my current island. Okay, let's take a closer look at that cliff. Oof, wait, right off the bat, I see something that I actually wouldn't do now, which is placing wheat fields like this. Anyway, let's walk up the ramp. So this is Mint's farm, but instead of it being a regular farm, you can see that she's also harvesting some gumdrops. Over here, she's just selling some desserts she made and storing some farming related materials in the back. As I mentioned earlier, I really wanted this island to be full of desserts and snacks, so we will be seeing a lot more of these items around the island. To the left, we can see some actual crops mixed with the gumdrops. And coming to this couch over here actually gets us our first viewpoint of the island. I remember I wanted to include those festivale balloons behind resident services, and I'm honestly pleased with how this looks. I just wish I covered more of the left side with more trees, but it's all good. Going back down to the little forest trail, we can see a bunch more natural decorations. And then over here, we see our very first bed of the island. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a child's dream, so we will be seeing more of these beds scattered around. And then, heading over here to the left, we have a little ice rink. Actually, with this really cute coat, I also used it as filler frozen ponds in other areas as well. And then here is Abel's sisters. We just have a little bear selling some desserts. And once again, another bed. I also put this magazine stand here because I wanted to give off the vibe of reading something before falling asleep. Going up here leads us to resident services. And where I'm standing right now is where I have left some gifts for y'all to enjoy. Coming back to this left side, we can get a really good view of both shops on this bridge. While this is a pretty nice frame, knowing how I decorate now, I definitely would have added more trees in the background just to fill it up a little bit more. Okay, now finally crossing the bridge, we are in a little market area next to Nook's Cranny. As you can see, there are some yachts parked by the beach as they just finished shipping some goods for the shop. Likewise, there are more deliveries happening with these trucks. This is the island where I actually came to like these trucks because of the fact that you can add a unique custom design to them to bring some more detail to an area. Over here by the peninsula, we just have a lighthouse and some fillers. As you can see, I didn't really touch the beaches because as usual, I just could not be bothered. Heading up this ramp, we come across Marshall's house where he attends to this little minigame course. In front of his house is a little ticket check-in booth where participants go to register for the game. Crossing this bridge, we see some stalls selling some goods to the players. For this little build, I took inspiration from marathons where people give away drinks to the runners, except in this kidcore island, they're actually giving away sweet treats and drinks. Down here is another bed and more fillers. And going down the ramp, we see resident services yet again. Walking up this path, there is a small frozen duck pond. I thought it was really creative to have the waterfall here and use this ice rink coat to create the illusion of the water being frozen while being able to actually place some toy ducks down here. Walking further up, we approach a little camp filler area with a star pond. And when I said star, I meant literal stars all around the pond. I actually loved using the Mario items in this island because they fit the kidcore theme so well. Here we can get a closer look at the kids' tents and the little bears enjoying themselves with the little picnic. However, before we cross this bridge to the right, let's actually head back to the game course and continue our tour from there. And so this is where the course begins. It's a pretty simple course. All the players have to do is just jump over these stepping stones, but there's actually a small secret here for visitors of this island. Simply go inside the pipe for a surprise. And here we have my favorite viewpoint of the entire island. I wanted this area below to be somewhat of a distant island, so I surrounded it with rivers to separate it from the main area. I used doll houses to create the illusion that they were actual houses that you can see from a distance. We also have a very pretty flower field and some cute plushies enjoying some snacks. I also made sure to completely block off this top cliff so that the only way you can access this viewpoint is through the pipe. Anyway, let's go back to the game course and continue the tour. Jumping over the river officially ends the course. To the left over here, we can get a really nice view of a little hidden wedding down below. I actually love how cute this little filler section is. Once again, the bubble machines add so much to the area. Over here to the right is where the prizes for the participants are. Depending on what number you spin, you may end up getting the grand prize. Crossing the blue and pink landbridge, you can get a nice view of the wedding area to the left side and the star pond on the other side. Going up this ramp is the frog area. If you remember from the map, we are actually standing on the frog-shaped cliff, and this is where Lily and Jeremiah live, who are actually married and have children. Here in the center is where they like to hang out and enjoy some food together. Now let's take a closer look at the area. I tried to tie in the decorations based on their personalities, so Lily has some gardening and reading materials, while Jeremiah is a huge foodie. Coming back down and heading to the right leads us to another foresty transitional area. Walking towards this bench, we can actually get a cute view of their little froggy kids. Crossing this bridge and heading over here, we are actually getting closer to Sherb's home where he owns a little gyroid farm. Speaking of gyroids, we actually have some here just chilling by the river. Now standing over here, we can get a really cute view of the overall gyroid farm. To be honest, I always forget to include gyroids on my island, but they're actually so cute and I love how they move to the music. Once again, Sherb just has some farming materials in his yard and of course another bed. Coming back down and going down the ramp, this actually connects to the star pond camp that we saw earlier. And then down here we have yet another cute bear picnic and a small trail that leads to a different part of the island, which we will be going over later. Heading back up, we come across Sasha's flower farm. Wait, now that I think about it, why is this island low-key giving farmcore? Anyway, Sasha's house is actually a part of this blue neighborhood. Here, we have a little plaza moment where we have a bunch of different stalls selling various goods. And then, coming up here is a little filler area that actually leads us to the secret beach. This was back at the time when I actually cared to include the secret beach in my islands. On the beach itself, however, we just have some yachts that delivered some goods for the market. And then we have Bluebear, who owns a little fishing stall selling all kinds of seafood. Once again, extending the theme of deliveries, we can see a yacht there in the back. And walking over to the right actually leads us to a fishing spot and shed. Coming back to the center of the neighborhood, we can see a large seating area and a few more stalls. I really wanted this to feel like some sort of town square, and so we have a big illuminated tree and a couch in the center. Walking past this frozen arch is another natural transition area. And then crossing this bridge leads us to another neighborhood, which is the dessert cafe neighborhood. Because the last neighborhood was mainly blue, I tried to incorporate more pink here for some variety. And here we have a huge cafe and dessert shop owned by Rosie and Chrissy. Their default homes actually look so cute together, and I'm glad that I chose them for this area. If we walk over to Chrissy's house, we can see that she has some laundry out to dry, but if we head over onto the beach, we can actually get a closer look at the flower field by hopping over this tiny river. Coming down here from the neighborhood is yet another transitional area that leads to the campsite. I thought it was a perfect opportunity to include a few colorful bunnies on this trail as well. Then we finally approach the campsite itself. As per usual, we have a little seating area with some plushies enjoying the warmth of the campfire, and standing right here we can actually get a good view of the entire campsite as well as a sneak peek of the museum build. Coming along this way, we have yet another foresty transition area with some cute decorations along the way. But before we actually head up the incline to the museum, let's check out Dom's house first. Being the only jock type of the island, I leaned into his personality and gave him a little basketball court and some other sports related items for his yard. Heading left, we have a pretty small playground next to Dom's house, which actually transitions well into the amusement park area. I thought these builds were perfect for Kidcore Island, so I made sure to include them. Over here, we have some prizes and snacks from the amusement park, but before we actually enter, let's head over to the left where we spot the second part of the playground, the parking lot, and of course, more beds. Up here is the transitional area that leads us back to the bear picnic near Sasha's farm, so let's return to the amusement park and explore that build. To the left, we have the carousel, and heading up, we see more of its attractions. Heading over here, we have a mini arcade and some more food items. If we climb up this ladder, we can actually get a really nice view of the 3 blue houses by the blue neighborhood. This was actually the frame I used to set up these 3 houses. Once I knew that these 3 villagers had the same color blue for their homes, I knew that I wanted them all in one frame like this. I also love the layering effect we have going on with the wind turbines. On this cliff itself, we just have some filler picnic spots, and we actually get a chance to get a better view of the whole neighborhood marketplace. Down here, we just have a small seating area just to rest in between enjoying the rides. As for my house, I made it like a little souvenir shop. So to the right, we have a stall with all the prizes you can win by trading in your tickets. As you can see, we actually have a good amount of prizes, and there's even a truck in the back full of more goodies for the visitors to get. Now let's take a look at the interiors. Again, extending the theme of a souvenir shop inside, we have more goodies in the main room of the house. I split this main room into 4 sections, so we have a book and electronics corner, a plushie corner, a board game corner, and of course a food corner. I can't believe that I actually built an interior this cute back then, but this room actually makes me so happy. Anyway, let's head downstairs. Here, we have the souvenir shop storage room where we just have a bunch of miscellaneous items scattered around. Honestly, this was just an excuse for me to clutter up this room and spread a bunch of random stuff from my storage. But I will admit that these are some of my favorite interiors to do. It's just a simple way to fill up an interior while keeping it kinda cutesy. And oh, looks like I just gave up on the bedroom. But low-key, it kind of fits the theme since this is supposed to be a dream, so having basically nothing in this room but some clouds gives off the vibe of drifting away in your imagination. Right. Heading waiting outside, let's head to the final build of the island, which is the outdoor theater by the museum. If we actually head over here to the right, we can get a secret viewing spot of the dessert cafe area. I feel like I will never not have any viewing spots on my islands because look at how good this looks. And here we have the outdoor theater. I definitely wanted it to feel very cozy, so I spread around the cloud path code so it would seem like you're just sitting on a huge fluffy blanket. And then over here to the left, you can actually purchase some snacks to enjoy while you're watching the movie. And that's pretty much it for this island tour. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you have made it this far. I honestly impressed myself so much walking around this island because this was back in the early days of me still learning how to decorate and use a lot of the different items. If you also liked this island, feel free to let me know what your favorite build was. This honestly makes me want to do another winter island sometime in the future. In other news, I am currently working on a fairy core and kidcore themed island, which is honestly pretty similar to this one in terms of the items I'm using. But if you are interested in seeing me decorate live, then feel free to follow me on Twitch. I am live most days and usually streaming Animal Crossing, so I will definitely be streaming more of my current island then. And with that, thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.